deep in the ocean, in water so dark that sunlight barely reaches it at all, there is a fish with a head you can see straight through, almost like a window made of clear jelly. Inside that see-through head, two glowing green eyes sit tucked safely underneath, quietly looking upward through the top of its own skull. This is not a special camera trick. This is simply how the fish's face is built. That sounds almost impossible. Skin and bone are supposed to protect what is inside, not let you see straight through them. Why would any animal evolve a head you can practically look into, like a fish tank sitting right on top of its shoulders? Most people would guess this must just be a strange side effect of living in the deep ocean. Maybe the fish's skin became thin and pale simply because there is no sunlight down there to protect against. Living in constant darkness might just naturally lead to pale, thin, weak skin over time. But that guess misses the real reason. This fish's head is not thin or weak by accident. It is shaped this way on purpose, and it took a very specific problem to create it. To understand why, you first have to understand where this fish's eyes are pointed, and that part is even stranger than the see-through skin itself. Here is the real story. This fish's eyes are not aimed forward, the way most fish eyes are. They are aimed almost straight up toward the surface of the ocean far above, in the deep, dark water where this fish lives. Tiny scraps of sunlight barely make it down from above, but there is often just enough to create faint shadows. By looking straight up, the fish can spot the dark outline of prey swimming above it, silhouetted against that faint light, the same way you might notice a bird flying across a bright evening sky. This upward-looking strategy only works well if the eyes themselves are unusually good at catching tiny amounts of light. So these eyes are large for the size of the fish and shaped more like short tubes than round balls, packed with extra light catching cells lined up to grab every last scrap of glow drifting down from above. A normal, smaller eye simply would not be sensitive enough to notice such a faint, fading shadow so far below the sunlit surface. But pointing your eyes straight up all the time creates a brand new problem. If your eyes are always facing upward, you cannot easily watch what is happening directly in front of your own mouth. And that matters a lot, because much of this fish's food comes from stinging, jelly-like creatures drifting through the water, creatures it needs to approach and steal food from very carefully without touching the dangerous, stinging parts. Some of these jelly-like creatures trail long, sticky arms behind them, arms already loaded with food they have caught themselves. This fish appears to sneak in close and carefully pick that trapped food away, almost like quietly lifting something out of someone else's basket without being noticed. A mistake here could mean a painful sting, so this kind of careful, close-up work simply cannot be done using eyes that are stuck staring straight up the entire time. This is where the see-through head finally makes sense. The fish's eyes are not fixed in one single position after all. They can actually rotate inside the head, swiveling forward when the fish needs to look straight ahead, then swinging back upward again once the danger has passed. For this rotating trick to work though, the eyes need open space around them to move freely, not thick bone or solid muscle blocking the way. So the fish's head evolved into a soft, clear, fluid-filled dome instead of a hard skull. That clear fluid cushions and protects the eyes while still letting plenty of light pass through, and it also gives the eyes just enough open room to rotate freely inside. In other words, the head is see-through not because protection stopped mattering, but because this particular kind of protection had to allow movement and light through at the very same time. Something solid bone could never do. There is one more twist to this story that surprises almost everyone who first learns about this fish. For a long time, people believed the two dark spots visible on the front of the fish's face were its actual eyes. They are not. Those two spots are actually the fish's nose, used only for smelling, not seeing. The real eyes, the glowing green ones capable of spotting faint shadows from far above, are hidden safely inside the clear dome, tucked up near the top of the head the whole time. This same basic idea, protecting a delicate body part while still needing light to reach it, shows up in other deep-sea creatures too, just solved in different ways. Certain deep-sea squid have unusually large eyes built to catch even the faintest scraps of light, since finding any usable light at all becomes the biggest challenge the deeper you go. Other fish that live at extreme depths have eyes that barely work at all, relying instead on other senses like feeling changes in water pressure, since there simply is not enough light left to bother collecting. What makes this particular fish stand out is that it solved two separate problems with one single body part. A large squid eye only needs to gather light. A pressure-sensing fish only needs to feel movement. But this fish needed an eye that could gather the faintest light from directly above, while also being free to swing forward whenever a careful, close-up feeding opportunity appeared. Building one eye that could handle both jobs meant the surrounding head had to change along with it, which is really the whole reason the clear, see-through dome exists at all. Zooming out, this whole story is a reminder that a strange-looking body part is almost never an accident. A see-through head might look bizarre or even a little unsettling at first glance, but every part of it exists because of a very specific, very real problem, in this case needing to look up and forward at the exact same time, in a place with almost no light to spare. Evolution rarely builds something odd just for the sake of being odd. It builds odd things because ordinary solutions simply do not work down there. So somewhere far beneath the sunlit surface of the ocean, in cold, dark water where few creatures ever travel, this small fish hangs almost perfectly still. Its clear, dome-shaped head glows faintly green from the eyes hidden safely inside it, eyes quietly watching the water above for the faint shadow of a meal. And when that shadow finally appears, the fish's eyes calmly swing forward, watching through its own see-through skull as it moves in for a careful, silent approach.